In the early 4th century, the mighty Roman Empire was no longer the unstoppable power it had once been. Civil wars, political betrayals, and ruthless struggles for the throne had pushed the empire to the edge of collapse. Across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East, millions lived under constant fear, never knowing who would rule them next. Yet from this age of chaos, one extraordinary leader would emerge, a man whose vision would reunite Rome, reshape Christianity, and forever change the course of world history. His name was Constantine the Great. Constantine was born around 272 AD in the Roman city of Nisus in present-day Serbia. His father, Constantius Chlorus, was a brilliant Roman general whose military victories earned him great respect throughout the empire. His mother, Helena, came from humble origins but became known for her wisdom, compassion, and unwavering determination. Growing up in the imperial court, Constantine was surrounded by powerful generals, ambitious politicians, and experienced advisors. From an early age, he learned that the Roman throne was never inherited peacefully. It had to be earned through courage, intelligence, and strength. Those early lessons would shape the future ruler of the Roman Empire. As Constantine grew older, his life took a dangerous turn. To secure his father's loyalty, he was kept in the court of Emperor Galerius, not as an honored guest, but as a political hostage. Every day he witnessed the brutal reality of Roman politics, where trust was rare and power meant survival. Instead of living in fear, Constantine trained relentlessly. He mastered swordsmanship, cavalry tactics, battlefield strategy, and leadership. While other nobles enjoyed luxury, Constantine prepared himself for war. Unknowingly, these difficult years forged the young prince into the commander who would one day change the destiny of Rome forever. By 305 AD, Constantine realized that remaining in Galerius's court could cost him his freedom or even his life. His father, Constantius Chlorus, was now leading campaigns in the western provinces and needed his son by his side. According to historical accounts, Constantine secretly fled the imperial court, traveling day and night across the Roman Empire to reach his father. It was a bold and dangerous journey. If Galerius's men had captured him, his future would likely have ended there. But fate was on Constantine's side. After a long and exhausting ride, he finally reunited with his father in Britain. It was a reunion that would change the history of the Roman Empire forever. In 306 AD, while leading a military campaign in Eboracum, modern-day York, England, Constantius Chlorus fell seriously ill. Soon after, he died, leaving the Roman army without its commander. The soldiers deeply respected both the father and the son. Without waiting for approval from the other rulers of the empire, the legions raised their shields and proclaimed Constantine as Augustus, their new emperor. It was a dramatic moment that changed his life forever. But beyond the cheers of his loyal army, powerful rivals refused to accept his claim. The struggle for the Roman throne had only just begun. Although Constantine had been proclaimed emperor by his army, not everyone recognized his authority. At that time, the Roman Empire was divided among several powerful rulers, each determined to seize complete control. In Rome, Maxentius declared himself emperor. In the east, Licinius and other rivals built their own alliances. The empire was once again on the brink of civil war. Constantine understood that words alone would never secure the throne. If he wanted to unite Rome, he would have to defeat every rival who stood in his way. The fate of the empire would soon be decided on the battlefield. By 312 AD, Constantine marched toward Rome to confront his greatest rival, Maxentius. As his army advanced, an extraordinary event was said to have taken place. According to ancient Christian sources, Constantine looked into the sky and saw a radiant cross of light above the sun, accompanied by the words, "In this sign, conquer." That night, he reportedly dreamed that Christ instructed him to place the Christian symbol, the Chi Rho, on his soldiers' shields. Whether viewed as a miracle or a powerful legend, this moment transformed Constantine's confidence. He believed that victory was no longer based on numbers alone, but on divine guidance. On October 28, 312 AD, Constantine's army met Maxentius at the Milvian Bridge, just outside the gates of Rome. Although Maxentius commanded a larger force, Constantine's soldiers fought with remarkable discipline and determination. The battle quickly turned against Maxentius. As his troops retreated across a temporary bridge over the Tiber River, panic spread through the ranks. The bridge collapsed under the weight of the fleeing army. Maxentius was thrown into the river and drowned beneath the heavy armor he wore. By the end of the day, Constantine stood victorious. The victory at the Milvian Bridge gave Constantine control of the Western Roman Empire. But his greatest legacy was yet to come. In 313 AD, Constantine met with the Eastern Emperor Licinius in the city of Milan. Together, they issued the Edict of Milan, a decree that granted religious freedom to all people across the Roman Empire. For nearly 3 centuries, Christians had endured persecution, imprisonment, and execution simply because of their faith. Now, those dark days were ending. Churches could be rebuilt, worship became legal, and Christianity emerged from the shadows into the heart of the empire. It was one of the most influential decisions in Roman history. Although Constantine and Licinius had once ruled as allies, their partnership did not last. As the years passed, suspicion and ambition drove the two emperors further apart. Licinius gradually abandoned the spirit of cooperation and began restricting Christian communities in the Eastern Empire. At the same time, both rulers dreamed of becoming the sole emperor of Rome. Political tension soon turned into military confrontation. Diplomacy had failed, and once again the Roman world prepared for another devastating civil war. This time, the conflict would decide who would rule the entire Roman Empire. In 324 AD, the long rivalry between Constantine and Licinius erupted into full-scale war. Their armies clashed in a series of fierce battles across the Eastern Roman Empire, including the decisive Battle of Chrysopolis. Constantine's experienced legions outmaneuvered Licinius's forces, forcing them into a crushing defeat. Realizing that all hope was lost, Licinius surrendered and begged for mercy. Constantine initially spared his former ally after promises that he would never again seek power. But the peace was short-lived. Accused of plotting another rebellion, Licinius was later executed. With his last rival gone, Constantine became the sole ruler of. After reuniting the empire, Constantine knew that Rome was no longer the ideal center of power. The ancient capital was burdened by political rivalries and too far from the empire's most important frontiers. Seeking a stronger and more strategic location, he chose the ancient Greek city of Byzantium. In 330 AD, after years of rebuilding, he officially dedicated it as Constantinople, the city of Constantine. Magnificent churches, grand palaces, bustling markets, and towering defensive walls soon transformed the city into one of the greatest capitals in history. For more than 1,000 years, Constantinople would stand as the heart of the Eastern Roman, or Byzantine, Empire. As Constantinople grew, Constantine continued to reshape the Roman Empire. Although he did not make Christianity the official religion, he became its greatest imperial protector. He ordered the construction of magnificent churches, returned property that had been seized during earlier persecutions, and granted privileges to Christian clergy. At the same time, he allowed followers of traditional Roman religions to continue their worship, seeking stability rather than forced conversion. Under Constantine's rule, Christianity was transformed from a persecuted faith into a respected and influential force within the empire. The foundations of a new Christian Roman world had been laid. By 325 AD, Christianity had spread rapidly across the Roman Empire, but a serious disagreement threatened to divide the church. A priest named Arius argued that Jesus Christ was not equal to God the Father, while many bishops strongly rejected his teachings. Concerned that this conflict could also divide the empire, Constantine summoned more than 300 bishops from across the Roman world to the city of Nicaea. It became the first ecumenical council in Christian history. After weeks of intense debate, the bishops approved the Nicene Creed, affirming the divinity of Christ and establishing a shared foundation for Christian belief. Constantine had not... After decades of war, reform, and leadership, Constantine's health began to decline. In the spring of 337 AD, while preparing for a campaign against the Persian Empire, he became seriously ill. Realizing that the end of his life was near, he traveled to a villa near Nicomedia, where he made one final and deeply personal decision. Although he had supported Christianity for many years, Constantine had delayed his baptism. Following the custom of some Christians of his time, he believed it was best to receive baptism near the end of life. There, surrounded by bishops and attendants, the emperor who had changed the Roman Empire prepared for his final moments. On May 22, 337 AD, Constantine the Great passed away, ending a reign that had transformed the Roman Empire forever. His body was carried to Constantinople and laid to rest in the Church of the Holy Apostles, surrounded by honor and ceremony. Yet Constantine's influence did not end with his death. He reunited a divided empire, founded a capital that would endure for more than 1,000 years, and gave Christianity the freedom to flourish across the Roman world. To some, he was a brilliant statesman and military genius. To others, he was the emperor who forever changed the course of Christianity. Whatever history's judgment may be, one truth remains undeniable. Few rulers have left a legacy as powerful and enduring as Constantine the Great.